Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Filmcast, a podcast about movies. I'm David Chen, and I don't know about you guys, but I've got the need for a summer movie wager dead reckoning. A couple of layers in that one for you guys.
Were there? I don't
Joining me today is Devindra Hardawar.
Clearly, we don't know anything. Why are you guys listening to us? That's my main question. That's my main takeaway from this whole summer movie wager.
Jeff Kanata.
My understanding is that the summer movie wager is scored like golf.
And joining us today, he is a senior reporter for IO9 and Gizmodo, Germain Lussier.
All I can say about the summer movie wager is hold my hand, everything will be okay.
Editorial director at slashfilm.com, as well as the co-creator of the Ordinary Adventures YouTube channel, Peter Sciretta.
Top Gun Maverick is not going to do that well this summer. Don't worry, guys. We picked it right.
We got it.
Well, those are, of course, all oblique references to the fact that today on the Filmcast, we are having part 2 of the summer movie wager, the results. Every year for the last few years, we've gathered together at the beginning of the summer and chosen what we think are going to be the top 10 movies of the domestic box office for that summer. And at the end of the summer, we gather together and we will assess which of us was the most accurate.
Yeah.
And the stakes are that whoever wins, whoever gets the most points, they get to decide something that the rest of us will watch that is under 3 hours in length, that the rest of us will watch and discuss. So that is the stakes. At the end of this episode, we're going to reveal the winner of the summer movie wager, and that person will then name something for us all to watch. So
I think, to be clear, there have been many of these summer movie wager reckonings, right? But I feel like this one is particularly momentous.
We put the wreck in reckoning
this
right
is going to
now.
put the wreck in reckoning. Yeah. Okay. So some quick details about the game, right? And I am reading here from thesummermoviewager.com, which is an awesome website put together by listener Dennis. And again, Dennis has taken what was already an excruciatingly fun activity and made it even more excruciating and fun by building the summermoviewager.com, where people can enter, you can track your results, and follow along in real time as the summer develops.
Prove how much more you know than us, as you're way above us. Yeah, things
exactly.
Like that, yeah.
Exactly. So the general goal of the game is to predict the highest grossing films of the summer in terms of domestic box office. We define summer a little bit differently each year, but it's basically through the end of it starts at a different point each year, but it's through the end of Labor Day, inclusive of that time period, right? We've each created a list from 1 through 10 of what we think each movie is going to do in terms of ranking and how much money it's going to make. And we each picked 3 movies as dark horses, and we basically get points depending on how close we are to the actual final ranking of the movie. And if a dark horse ranks in the top 10, then we get a bonus point for each one of those. So basically, if you picked a movie for number 1 and that was correct, you get 13 points. If you picked 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9 correct, you get 10 points. If you picked number 10 correctly, you get 13 points. If your choice was 1 spot away from the actual ranking, you get 7 points. 2 spots away, 5 points. And if your movie placed in the top 10 at all, you get 3 points. If your movie picked is not placed within the top 10 at all, you score 0 points. So again, you get more points the closer you are to the final ranking. Now, usually at this point, we just start diving into what number 1 through 10 is, right? We start diving into what number 1 through 10 is and kind of start talking about it. But why don't I start by actually naming what the number 1 movie of the summer was? I think we need to start with that, and then I want to have a conversation with you guys about that, right?
I mean, it was obviously Jurassic World Dominion, like we all picked, right?
Like literally every single one of us.
Unanimous. It was unanimous from the start, and
We
therefore
knew.
unanimous now.
We knew it was going to be a fantastic film, and it worked. So
I like that we need to enumerate this for folks in case they've been living under an F-14 this entire summer.
The number 1 movie of the summer. The number 1 movie of the summer was Top Gun Maverick, which made over $700 million.
Woo-hoo.
I mean, who could have seen that coming, guys?
No one
None
saw
of
it
us.
coming.
No one saw that coming.
You know, it's interesting that you say that. So again, Top Gun Maverick is the number one movie this summer. Oh, hey, somebody is making an appearance. If you are watching the video version of this podcast at youtube.com/filmcast, my wife has appeared in my video feed. And she's holding up a sign she's holding up a sign that says "Justice for Germain."
But wait, Germain did not pick this as number one.
Yeah, well, he's part of the nobody that picked it as number one.
Yeah.
And you know what else I would like to point out, Dave? I would suspect your wife wouldn't have picked it as number one either, had she been playing.
Okay, well, if my wife was participating in this podcast, which she is not, I think what does Justice for Germain mean is a good question. And the answer to that question is the rules should be redone so that Germain wins the summer movie wager.
Or at least like an MVP award. There should be an MVP award.
No, whether she's left the sign.
That's assuming I didn't win.
That's assuming you did win. That's correct. That's correct.
So you're saying your wife is essentially saying "Stop the steal," Dave?
Yes, she's she's saying hashtag "Stop the steal" of the summer movie wager.
By the way, I think if obviously what we're getting to here is that I picked Top Gun way higher than everybody else, and you guys gave me incredible shit for it, which is fine. Yes. That's the podcast. Yep. But the thing was, like, I lost my train of thought. It was that I didn't even pick it high enough. So like, it's like
you could have gone harder, Germain. Come on.
But also the Justice for Germain is only because if I had picked Top Gun 3 and you guys were like, oh, that's a little high. I picked it 5 and that was it. None of this would have happened. Nobody on Twitter would have said this. Justice for Germain would not be a thing. Me and Han finally have something in common.
Okay. So I want to talk about this because I went back and re-listened to our summer movie wager episode in preparation for this episode.
So did some fans.
That's a terrible idea, Dave.
And I'm going to play some clips from that episode for us to react to.
Oh no.
Now I do want to say,
if only that episode weren't lost to history, Dave. It feels.
I do want to say that the mockery of Germain was total and comprehensive and embedded into the DNA of the episode itself. So basically, it was great. It was actually very difficult. It was very difficult to only choose the number of clips that I choose, which is numerous, but it was very difficult to condense it down to the number of clips that I had.
Right. Okay? Somebody on YouTube did it and sent it to me, and it was glorious. But I was like, wait, why is this only like 2 minutes long? It was like a lot.
That's what I'm saying. It was. That's what I'm saying. What I'm going to show you is only a subset of the total instances of mockery. So like, this is not comprehensive. But let's go back to the moment when Germain actually chose Top Gun, and you're going to listen to it. Now, I also want to point out, I put in a little harp noise at the beginning and end of each clip, so you can kind of people who are listening know like when the clip begins and ends. Okay, so here we go.
Also, because you love harps. This
is the moment when Germain chose Top Gun as his number 3 movie of the summer box office. Let's get to number 3. Germain Lussier, your number 3 movie.
I feel the need for speed.
Really?
Top Gun.
No way.
You guys don't know, man. Yeah, you know what? The champ is speaking. Let me give me the mic.
Wow.
I mean, look, it's like
you think it's gonna make more money than Thor?
This is
yes.
This is madness.
I think it is going to be
multiverse of madness.
A beast. I mean, we talked about multi-generational things. Top Gun goes back way even further than Jurassic Park. And it's a movie that Paramount is so confident in. They've just been holding it. And yeah, a lot of that is Tom Cruise and his powers of Scientology. But I just have this feeling that the movie is going to be that nostalgic, amazing, uplifting, rah-rah Americana, even if you don't care about Americana movie. And I think it's just going to be a monster. And I mean,
that's a bold move.
Yeah, it is. I honestly didn't think it was that bold of a move, but I'm actually kind of glad because if we want to go down, we'll go down in flames like Goose.
Top Gun is one of those
it's
movies.
It's a bold move like what Goose did in the first Top Gun.
That worked out really well for him. You know, Germain, it'd be great if you listened to Germain. You know, like really.
Everything Germain Lussier said in that clip was correct. If I
would have been higher in your list, right?
Yeah, I get, but like you honestly were like, "There's no way." Even like as confident as I was in that movie being a hit, I was like, "There's no way it's going to beat Marvel and Jurassic Park." I mean, I mean, nobody. I don't think Tom Cruise himself, Xenu upon Xenu, could have guessed that it would make as much money as it did. Was it the number 4 or 5 movie of all time domestically now?
Yes.
Just crossed Black Panther. It's no one.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Sorry, you go first, Devindra. You go first.
I want to make one thing clear that I don't know was clear during that episode. Germain, you saw bits of Top Gun. You saw the opening sequence. You kind of knew the fire.
He had an unfair advantage.
It was a bit of an advantage.
I had seen the first, I'm assuming everybody's seen the movie here. And we're listening because it made a lot of money. I saw the entire opening credits and then up to when the plane goes down and he goes into the diner. And when little kids like Earth. Sequence. And then that's where my footage cut. I saw that at CinemaCon in 2021 and I was like blown away. And that definitely gave me a little bit more confidence. But at that time, I'd also seen stuff from Lightyear, and that gave me a lot of confidence, which maybe it was a downfall potentially.
Yeah. So our mockery of Germain was so vicious that Germain himself really started to lose his will during the episode, and you can hear it in the following clip.
I was expecting one of us to have one of the Marvel movies above Jurassic
number
World.
1. Could be.
Yeah.
Could be.
Could very well be. Those 3 movies feel like any one of them could be in any one of the top 3 spots, but I just don't see any other movie.
The only movie that can't be in the top 3 is got to be Top Gun Maverick. Out of all the movies in the top 10, not even number 9, that's the one that can't be in number 3. Okay. Anyway, go ahead. Go ahead, Peter.
The question about Top Gun, and it's really weird because, if that movie came out in 1986, what kind of resonance, what kind of cultural impact does that movie still have is the question. One thing surprised me, if I was going to ask you guys, anybody that doesn't know this answer, please answer. How much did the original Top Gun make in 1986 domestically?
150 million.
180 million.
Oh, that's pretty close.
Back then.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
Amazing, right? For 1986 money.
And you guys, but I think you're crapping on me, and I appreciate it. I can take it. It's no problem. But you think about, I think will kids show up opening weekend? No. Was it going to make $200 million every weekend? No. But the Mission Impossible movies do huge.
They do 200 million.
They have never cracked 250 million.
It wouldn't be up there. Yeah.
They talk about this is domestic, but I thought I'm kidding. I know it's not.
You know the rules, Germain.
Yeah,
you know the rules.
I know.
Okay. I like how Germain pretended to not know the rules at one point in the episode.
This is the first year I've done it, so I figured.
You've never done the show.
Never done it.
Speaking of generational appeal, there was a lot of questions what other generations might be interested in watching the show, as this clip, beginning with Jeff Kanata, makes clear.
You talk about multi-generational. It's old people like us. And no kids. It is the people that remember. But whereas Thor, my son who's 5 has Thor on his T-shirt.
That's a fair point that I honestly didn't even think about. I think I might have let myself be blinded by my
it's very clear not much thought went into this choice.
No, I don't know. But maybe
you think that's going to make more money than Lightyear, which is
mining families? Let's not spoil the rest of the list.
Yeah, I will say this: that this movie is not even in my top 5.
Oh my god! Well,
not in my top 5 either.
Same. This is Germain's last stand. This is Germain. Months from now, when we're talking about how you lost, this is the moment. This is how it happened.
It might very well be, but if
it's
I'm
almost
down,
it's like he's a Maverick. Okay.
Yeah.
There it is.
All right. Well, that's Germain's number 3 choice. It's Top Gun Maverick.
This was the Ash conformity experiment. You guys know the peer pressure experiment in real time. It was us.
It was grateful, but
being absolutely correct, and us just shitting on him so hard that he's like, "Oh, I guess you guys are right." It makes me embarrassed of us to hear it. I just feel so bad.
This is the Gaslight Filmcast, and that's how it works. But also, what I love about that clip is my 5-year-old son has a Thor shirt. It's your 5-year-old son doesn't have a wallet with money in it, so he's not going to go to the movie.
It's true.
What you does and did was every single person over the age of 30 who went to see it like times.
You know what happened is my 5-year-old saw Top Gun Maverick in the theater 4 times.
That's it too. Oh, there you go. Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Well, my favorite quote is Devindra saying, "You think it's going to make more money than Lightyear?"
Lightyear.
I want that on a T-shirt. I want that in Top Gun font. You think it's more money than Lightyear?
Well, Jeff, if you thought that was embarrassing, wait till you hear this next clip.
Oh, this is my favorite.
Jeff Kanata, you're number 8.
Dun, 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 dun,
Oh, wow.
dun, dun, dun. This is where it should be. Not gonna make more than number 8 money. This is where it is going to be. Okay.
Wow, you're really excited for Bob's Burgers, Jeff.
I know. Wow.
Yeah, I think Top Gun Maverick may be in my top 3 movies I enjoy this summer, but I don't think it's going to be making crazy money. I think it's. I expect it to be very, very good. I think it has been marketed for 2 years now, and I don't think there's people who are clamoring to go see it like we are. Yeah, I think it's going to make a lot less money than the rest of you think it's going to make.
I feel like.
Well, Jeff, I have some really bad news for you.
What's the bad news?
It's not even down. Top Gun Maverick is not even down at number 8 in the all-time domestic box office in the history of mankind. In the history of since movies have been made, it is not even down at number 8 on that chart.
There is no number 8.
It's going to be.
I'm a big dummy and I was wrong. Yeah. There's no number 8 that it even I couldn't even apply a number 8 to it in any way. It's
almost 800 million.
Almost 800 million. It's also, I think, number 11 on the top global international box, of all internationally worldwide grosses. It's number 11, I think, behind Frozen 2 is my understanding. But
I would say this is the biggest shock since we've been doing the summer movie wager. It feels to me like this is the most out of the blue. Even someone that had the crazy foresight to put it number 1. I don't think anybody saw it as a juggernaut in the all-time box office lists. That's just like you were saying, Jermaine. Not even Tom Cruise in his wildest dreams thought this was going to happen. And
this is one of those things where it's like, are we really just living in a simulation? Are the records just skipping? Is the code just messed up? Because how did this happen? I don't know.
Yeah.
Nobody could have guessed.
I want to give Germain credit for believing in Top Gun more than all of us, but don't get me wrong. Hindsight is 2020. Okay. Now it seems like he is this genius. But I compare Germain, when you're watching a Roland Emmerich movie and there's the one guy in the movie that is the conspiracy theory believes that aliens are going to come down to Earth and no one believes him. The scientists in the movie don't believe him. All the reasonable people in the movie, Germain is that guy that just happened to be right. He just happened to be right.
He's the living embodiment of a broken clock. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Well, first of all, all those characters in the Roland Emmerich movies are right.
Always
but
right.
I think what you're trying to say is Germain is Randy Quaid from Independence Day.
Yes.
Hey, you know what, guys? I gotta say, my feelings about Germain are best summed up in the form of a limerick.
Oh wow, Germain limerick.
Yeah,
amazing.
Love it.
Underestimate Tom in a plane? It turns out that we were insane. I spoke like a prick to the true Maverick. I'm here for justice for Germain.
Wow, did you write that literally in the last 10 minutes?
Yes.
That's incredible.
Wow.
That's incredible.
Real good.
Amazing. All right, there is one other clip I wanted to play. Well, okay, two very quick clips. One is I want to make clear how total the mockery was throughout the episode. We were just dropping it left and right, little scraps from our table. Here's a clip of one such instance. Devindra, you're number 7.
Guys, do I feel good about Germain's chances this year? Nope.
Yeah.
There was no lack of confidence in our surety that he was wrong. You know what I'm saying?
I will just say one thing though. My Top Gun pick was at 5. I think where was everybody else's? Huh?
I'm finally the mockery of Germain spilled out beyond the borders of that specific episode, and it continued on even after Germain was gone.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So here is a clip from our Northman episode. Where we continue to brutally mock Germain. Here it is. For Germain Lussier to be correct about the Top Gun ranking in the summer movie wager, Top Gun would have to beat a Marvel movie, guys.
Yeah.
And that is just not gonna happen. I'm sorry.
Yes. I will eat my hat if that happens.
You're gonna eat your hat. I'm not promising to eat anything, but Jeff promises to eat his hat.
Dave just said he will go on a hunger strike if that happens.
Matt Patches too? Matt Patches too?
Matt Patches too. Yeah.
Well, guys, that leads me to just put on my hat real quick.
What a weird hat.
I call shenanigans.
Is that a bucket hat, Pete?
This is the hat.
You
guys can attest to that, Dave, Devindra. You guys can. I always wear this hat. This is the hat that you always see me wearing.
This is what you wear daily.
So if you are not watching the stream at youtube.com/Filmcast, but you are listening to it, Jeff has just placed what appears to be a hat made of tortillas on it.
No, this is my normal hat that I always wear.
Very little effort.
No one can claim that they haven't ever not seen me wear this hat.
Right.
It's so true.
We've at least put like a 49ers logo on it, Jeff. Come on now.
So anyway,
I feel like this is up for Germain's approval. Like you have to decide, is this hat enough for you?
Dude,
I think you have to go full Matt Patches. He said he would eat a shit if this movie even got made. He made a whole video.
He made a video.
I'll take the limerick, and you need to pound those tortillas. Right,
Germain, you know that I am into the conquistador look. You've known me for many years. You know that I love the conquistador. You remember how I used to walk around LA wearing this hat? Just like living it up in my hat.
Stopping up extra like taco
tortillas right now, or you're done.
Oh wow. Okay. If you're listening at home, Jeff is wolfing down these tortillas. Right?
All right, in my hat.
I mean his hat. I mean his hat.
Delicious hat.
Apologies.
Good.
Not his tortillas. Okay. Well,
it's pretty dry. Careful there, Jeff.
But suffice to say, Germain called it. He saw what the rest of us could not. Which is
and this is so much fun. I love it all being about me because I'm a narcissist. But it honestly, it's like it was so. I'm very happy that Top Gun did so well. Then I did it, but like, yeah, it still wasn't big enough, you know. And like, was a 3-1 gonna win me the summer movie wager? There's 9 other movies. So as awesome as this was for Top Gun and for me and for my redemption, there's still a lot more movie wager to go.
It's true.
It's true. I do love the fact, though, that Dennis includes a feature on the website that lists all of our biggest mistakes. Mine, single biggest mistake by Jeff, putting Top Gun Maverick at 8, putting it instead at 1 would have yielded a total of 61 points for first place. So literally, that could have won me the game single-handedly. Like, you say that there's a lot of movie wager to go, but that would have been the difference maker for me.
For all of us, pretty much. For all of us, yeah.
Jeff, very important question, which is in one of the clips I played. You said you think Top Gun Maverick is going to be in your top 3 movies that you would enjoy this summer.
Yes.
Is that correct?
It is indeed correct. It is indeed correct. It might have been the movie I enjoyed most. I mean, I really loved Doctor Strange 2. So those would be my 2 top enjoyed movies. And actually
enjoy Thor.
I had fun with Thor, but I didn't think it was as good as Ragnarok.
No, of course.
Actually, my top 3, I would say my top 3 enjoyed movies that made the top 10 of the summer are Top Gun Maverick, Doctor Strange 2, and I'm going to go with Bullet Train.
Yeah,
I had a blast with that movie.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. By the way, if you're just listening to the audio version of the podcast and not at youtube.com/Filmcast, where you should be watching this craziness unfold, Jeff is continuing to wear the tortilla hat and eating bits of it as the episode goes on. Now, before we continue, I want to spend just a little more time on Top Gun Maverick, guys, because it is incredibly unprecedented, right? We already discussed how it is the 5th domestic movie of all time. The next one, by the way, Avatar, which is number 4 with $760 million.
About to get re-released, baby.
Top Gun Maverick is not going to beat Avatar domestically, unfortunately. But yeah, Top Gun Maverick is now it recently beat Black Panther, which has $700 million and came out in 2018. It is and by the way, we should point out it was the number 1 movie at the box office 2 weekends ago. The summer opened with Top Gun Maverick at the top, and it ended with Top Gun Maverick at the top, which is basically unprecedented, I think, in the history of the summer movie wager.
In the history of like cinema, I believe.
Yeah.
Seriously, like I think people looked into it. Like even when I'm
Even
sure
Star Wars.
That's I don't know if but people were
77.
Yeah, I feel like maybe you're right, but like the things I read said the kind of history, and I feel like maybe like Gone with the Wind, maybe they weren't keeping track as much.
When there was like 6 movies out at a time.
Yeah.
Right,
total,
6 movies out total for like 7 years. Maybe that did it, but
But yeah, it's extraordinary, the performance, and like this was a movie that refused to lose any altitude, as it were, gents. If you know what I'm saying there.
Yeah.
I have a question for you guys. Well, 2 things. One, to that point, is that by the time it was in Labor Day, on Labor Day, and was number 1 again, it was available on VOD. Still not on Blu-ray, but more so than any other movie this summer. That was the movie. Like if you had to see it, you had to go to the theater. It was not. All these other movies had a very short window. Jeff's still eating his hat.
Yeah,
And then a staple.
Oh my God,
Good.
Jeff.
Good.
Jeff,
I had to staple it together. I don't know.
you had to staple. Yeah, okay, nice.
And my second point.
It has become unsafe for me to continue eating this.
Do we think, because Black Panther was nominated for Best Picture, and the other movies above it were not, but do we think Top Gun Maverick's got a shot at a Best Picture nomination?
I don't know about Best Picture, but I would not be surprised at all if it got a bunch of Oscar nominations, especially for like below the line stuff like sound mixing and things of that nature.
Well, I'm going to call it right now Best Picture nomination.
I'm not gonna even doubt you, Jermaine, because I
We
think
don't. We're not in the. We're not in the.
Anybody want to eat anything?
No,
Anybody want to
yeah.
eat anything?
No.
No.
No, I do not. I also just want to point out Top Gun Maverick is a movie we all enjoyed, and I do wonder if COVID had never happened, right? And Top Gun had come out in 2020 like it was supposed to, would it have done as well?
I'm convinced that the answer is no to that.
Yeah, we can never know, but I think that there's something about this movie releasing in the wake of the pandemic, but also all the other superhero movies that like we're all used to watching these days, that like it's so different than all of those. That is what made it catch on with people,
It probably would have been number 3 at the box office.
I mean, like you said, it's impossible to prove the counterfactual, but it does feel like there was something in the zeitgeist in this particular moment in time, and if we had just moved on normally as a society without COVID, and movies had come out and there had been no lull, and it had just been part of the churn of hundreds of movies a year instead of things just not coming out for a long time and nobody going to the movies for a long time. I just feel it I don't know. Maybe I'm clinging on to my original assessment of the movie that it wasn't special enough to people. And maybe I'm just inherently wrong. Maybe it was always going to be special to people, but something about this moment feels like a very big contributing factor to me.
I agree. There's also several other exogenous factors, external factors, like the fact that not very many movies came out this summer, and so Top Gun didn't have as much competition as would have had in the previous year, so
absolutely true.
All kinds of stuff. But whatever the case happens, Germain is basically vindicated. The movie was the biggest hit of the year so far. Only 2 movies have a chance to even dethrone it in 2022, which are Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, and Avatar: The Way of Water.
There's no that, Dave.
They're both going to be massive hits, but I don't think either's going to make as much domestically. I think Avatar internationally will beat it.
Avatar also only has a couple weeks, right? So not
well,
that much.
but for the year,
we'll talk about the whole run. We'll talk about the whole run.
Eventually, they talk about the whole run. Yeah, eventually, in hindsight.
All right. So anyway, it's one of the most notable entertainment stories of the year that Germain just seemingly wandered into by accident. No, I'm just joking. That was all skill. And so any other thoughts on Top Gun Maverick before we move on with the rest of the list? But I wanted to give a special amount of time for this massive, massive story.
Yeah, I just think I might watch it again tonight. So just
it is funny to me, we credit where credit is due. I wrote the limerick. I mean the limerick. Justice for Germain. We're here. We're giving you credit. I mean, we crapped on you in a completely unfair way. Credit where credit is due. However, it remains very funny to me that the difference between your justice and ours is 2 points in the grand scheme of things. You got additional points in the summer wager for the amount of crap you took.
Exactly, and that's what I was trying to say
points.
earlier. You're 100% right, and I appreciate it, and it was fun.
But you know, Germain's fate in the wager illustrates a stark truth, which is it's not about getting one choice really correct. It's about whose board has the most things closest to the right answers. Yeah. That will ultimately reveal who's the winner of the summer movie wager.
So, or maybe it is about getting one correct, but not at the number one spot.
Right. Perhaps. Peter Sciretta, did you have any other thoughts on Top Gun Maverick before we move on?
Yeah, I think Top Gun Maverick was just one of the best movies this summer. Like if you look at the list of movies this summer, I'm not going to say that they were bad, but they all kind of underwhelmed my expectations. And Top Gun Maverick was a movie I went into. I don't even like the original Top Gun. And I was expecting to go into it. And even though everybody loved it, I was like, oh, I'm probably not going to like it as much. And I ended up loving Top Gun Maverick. And it made me want to rewatch Top Gun. And I feel like that happened to everybody. And there was just not another movie that came out this summer that was such a feel good, everybody agrees, like was just a fun time.
I agree. I think it's the only movie I saw 3 times in theaters. It was a great time. Great time. So
I would argue, you know, I tend to do my list very cynically in assessing the tastes of the mainstream movie-going culture. I think especially this year and usually in years, I tend to be pretty cynical about it, putting movies that I sense will be awful, but feel like big 4-quadrant experiences at the top. Jurassic World is one of those. But using the power of the summermoviewager.com, I've just been going back through all of the number one movies of the summer. We skipped several years for COVID, but 2022, 2019, 2018, 2017, all the way back to 2007. All right. The number one movie of the summer, money making wise, has only been a movie I thought was objectively bad twice. That is Transformers, whatever it was, in Jurassic World in 2015 and Transformers 2011, is that what it is? No, that's Harry Potter. 2009 is Transformers 2 was the number one movie. But other than that, it's been what I consider to be very entertaining, well-made Marvel movies for several of them. Avengers Endgame, Avengers Infinity War. We got a Toy Story 3. We got Finding Dory. We got Wonder Woman, Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. I feel like I need to personally reassess my methodology when compiling this list. And I feel like more often than not, quality does win out. It's not just these crass commercial cash-in movies that end up being number one at the box office. Dark Knight is one of the years was the top. Yeah. I mean, good movies.
A, I think great point, Jeff. And I'm glad that this year's movie wager has caused some soul searching for you. And B, I really hope that this can help lift you out of last place, which happens to occur every single year for you.
No,
on the wager.
That's not. I've won it multiple years.
I'm just messing with you. I'm messing with you, man. But anyway, it's a good call.
The years that I won. So I won in 2009 when Transformers 2 was the movie at the top. And I put it at the top, so maybe I'm like stuck in that. Like that's the way to win.
Yeah, that's the way to win. Yeah, that's the ticket, baby.
Well, that's the thing, though, Jeff. Is that like we always want the summer movies to be good. We're like, oh my god, I really hope whatever is really good. And 95% of the time, they stink. Like even like we talked about like Thor briefly. We're going to talk about a bunch of these other movies in a second here. We want them to be great, and they usually are not. Top Gun was the opposite, and that's why another huge factor in it.
Yeah.
All right. So. Those are some thoughts on Top Gun Maverick, which came in number one at the box office, $700+ million. It's still raking in cash every week as we speak. And the final tally, right? Germain put it at number 3. That was the highest. I put it at number 6. Peter put it at number 6. Devindra put it at the next highest at number 5. Jeff at number 8, as you heard earlier in the podcast. But Germain put it the highest. Nicely done, Germain. The number 2 pick this year, or the number 2 ranking this year, was Doctor Strange 2 at $411 million. Now, that is a massive drop. That is an entire Mission Impossible film between Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, and Top Gun Maverick. That said, $400+ million is still a really solid take for Doctor Strange 2. My theory of why this went down is like it was drafting off of the quality and goodness of Spider-Man No Way Home. Doctor Strange is a major character in that movie. That movie dealt a lot with multiverses, and I think people were like, "Oh, this will be like the next part of like that multiverse story from Spider-Man No Way Home." Because if you compare Doctor Strange 2 to Thor: Love and Thunder, like I think they're like pretty comparable movies. To me, there's nothing that like elevates one dramatically over the other. Even though Doctor Strange 2, I know you guys
disagree with that.
Okay, well, fair enough.
I would say
want to point out
for
that
number
as much as this year's summer movie wager is the story of Germain Lussier, I don't want to underestimate how wrong Dave Chen was.
Yes, let's make this clear. A sure bet for number 2 would be
easy.
the big
Everybody,
summer.
you had to pick it, right? Yeah.
The conventional wisdom, the common wisdom, the wisdom that we all agreed on, the consensus was Thor and Doctor Strange. Thor and Doctor Strange are going to be packed together right there.
Yes.
And Dave Chen, who, let's be honest, probably didn't pull any audio clips for this part, was very, very adamant that Thor was going to outperform Doctor Strange 2.
I think adamant is a really strong word, Jeff, because
that's the word I chose.
It was a big swing, that I put Thor above Doctor Strange. I agree, it was a big swing, but that's often how winners and losers are made in a game like this.
That's my point. A loser was made.
Single biggest mistake for David Chen was putting Thor: Love and Thunder at number 2.
It's true. If I had made the switch or made different choices, I would be the victor. But here's the thing. I'm going to counter with you, Jeff. Okay, 2 things I want to say in response. Number 1, sorry, Jeff, for choosing Love and Thunder, love instead of madness. Okay, sorry about that. My bad. For isn't it you that it's like, hey, think about what you want to put out into the world and make it a better place. I'm like, hey, I want love to triumph over madness.
You are a lover, not a fighter, Dave.
And now I'm being punished for this extremely sensible decision. Sorry, Jeff. Oh yeah, F me, right? F me. Sorry for trying to be better about what's in the world. Okay,
you're right. I'm glad you've conflated my attack on you as an attack on love, Dave.
You're welcome. Well
done.
And then, secondly, the other thing I'm gonna add is just that I don't remember. I had a second point, but go ahead, Germain.
Yeah. No, I think I honestly don't think it was that huge of a swing for Dave to do this. But I think the reason we all picked it here is the runway, right? Like when you talk about Jeff, you talk about like your sort of strategy on the wager.
Yeah,
that first movie this summer is going to be in the top 3 unless it's terrible, because it just has more room to play. Doctor Strange also came on Disney Plus pretty quick after that, which might have shaved off a couple, tens of millions. But I think when you look at Thor and Doctor Strange, we were like, well, Thor probably is going to be the better movie, but Doctor Strange is the first movie out this summer. It has an extra month and a half on it. And I think that's definitely why the 4 of us picked that. And David just really, really loves Chris Hemsworth arms, so that's okay.
It's true. I mean, I will say that I don't think that they were actually that far apart. There's $70 million difference between Doctor Strange 2 and Thor: Love and Thunder. I guess that's pretty big. Also, I'm going to be honest, I wasn't a particularly big fan of either of those films, unfortunately. But Doctor Strange 2, I guess people thought it was better. Certainly, they came out in force in the box office. And as you said, Germain, it did come out earlier in the summer. And that does help at all.
You lost more points than Germain gained with his bold strategy,
Just remember, folks, in a game like the Summer Movie Wager, in order to live, you must be willing to die. Oh, and the second thing I was going to say, I remember the second thing is, Jeff. Hey, Jeff, I'm going to reiterate a point I made earlier, which is it's not about getting every single choice exactly right. You know, it's about getting enough things close to what it was supposed to be that you end up with a score higher than literally all you mofos. But anyway, we'll talk about that. That. Okay.
The rules of the summer movie wager are so weird and so. Do you know, Dave? Without looking, don't look. What is the point difference of where I placed Top Gun Maverick and Germain placed Top Gun Maverick?
I'm gonna guess it's something like 3 points or so. 2 points.
2 points.
Yeah, 2 points.
We were just talking about that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you noticed, but there's a sign that says "Justice for Germain" in my video feed, and I think it's a sign to reform the summer movie wager rules. So,
actually, from my perspective, it looks like "Justice for Germ," which looks like a weird anti-dance you're promoting.
It's a suitable nickname. It's a suitable nickname.
Yeah. So that was Doctor Strange number 2, $411 million. Peter, Devindra, Germain, and Jeff all hit that movie dead on for 10 points.
Yeah. Which is great, but it means nothing because if everybody gets it right, everybody gets it right. You know, it means nothing.
To quote Sean Archer in Face Off, "Bra fucking vo, everyone. Good job."
The only person who got it wrong is you, Dave. That's the only thing. It can only hurt. It can't help. That's the problem.
Thank you for that. Okay, number 3 at the box office was Jurassic World Dominion at $375 million, a movie that literally every single one of us chose as number 1. Now, here's the thing. We all knew that the movie would be bad. And we all thought that it would do well anyway, per Jeff's comment about the cynicism.
Right.
But I think where we all failed is we didn't do a good job of predicting how bad the movie would be.
Correct.
It would be so bad that it would be unable to overcome people's enthusiasms for seeing dinosaurs on the big screen.
Yeah, but you say that, but it's number 3 at the. I mean, $375 million. It's nothing to sneeze at.
It's still better than the first movie, so whatever.
But I think
you know you're such a big Jurassic World Dominion defender.
No,
Jeff. Sorry,
but I think this speaks to your Top Gun Maverick point, Jeff. If Dominion had been like 20% better, if it actually had dinosaurs in it, not locusts, the whole movie, the movie would have made $500 million and been number 2.
Runaway success would have been runaway. If the movie was any good at all, it would have made another $200 million. But it immediately came out, and we all trashed it, and everyone went to see it. And fans who came out who see like 3 movies a year, like, oh man, that was kind of crappy, and you're like, yeah, I'm sorry. And so the word of mouth killed it, and I think. So yeah, quality is important, but still, it still had big enough name to make 300 and change. Right. I'm going to say that Jeff did make a good point in the most dickish way imaginable, which is
my way
that that every movie in the top 5 is a huge success. From what I can tell, like every movie in the top 5, no matter where it ranked. Every movie in the top 5 made well over $300 million domestic. That's like huge. And even though Jurassic World Dominion could have made a lot more, $375 million, Jeff is right. Nothing to sneeze at. It's a solid take for this movie.
Especially compared to where we were last year, right? Where we're like, totally. Oh my God, will any of this survive? You know?
Yeah. So anyway, Jurassic World Dominion number 3, a movie I don't think any of us really liked. Maybe Peter liked it.
It's better than the first one.
I thought it was but it was fun. But the thing I wanted to say is, like, when Jeff was reading that list of all the movies that placed number 1 throughout the summer, most of them were good, but the ones that were bad were like these big event things that people had to go see. And I really felt that Jurassic World Dominion was going to be that. Like, it had all the ingredients of like the original cast coming back. It was just not good.
Yeah. The original cast was wasted, in my opinion. Like it actually sullied me on it made me retroactively question how much I like the original cast, basically, in that movie.
I was like, Jurassic Park 3 is pretty good, actually. Now that we look back, it's much better than that.
I will not go to that state, but okay.
Jurassic Park 3 is
number
trash.
4. So everyone put Jurassic World Dominion as number 5. I'm sorry, as number 1, and we all got 5 points for it. Number 4, Minions: The Rise of Gru. At $360.3 million. Peter's the only one that hit that one dead on.
Yeah. Big difference maker for Peter. That's it. We got to give it up for that. That was pretty
nicely done, Peter, for Minions: The Rise of Gru at number 4. Yeah.
When this one came out and I saw the first opening weekend, I was like, I'm toast. I was just like, I know I did pick this one wrong. Very, very wrong. This was a big mistake here for me, I felt. And Peter nailed it. Nice work.
This is one of the few things that I didn't base off data. I go very data and like looking at the past results, but I go to a lot of theme parks and I see how many people are wearing like Minions t-shirts and whatever. And I was like, that's what made me put this at this level.
Well, that's some data, Peter. That's some qualitative data you got. I think what you're saying is you got an unfair advantage, and I accept it, and I accept your apology.
I think
it's almost like he saw 12 minutes of the film, you know.
This one for me is a victim of Lightyear. Like Lightyear screwed my Minions ranking for me, because if there had been no Lightyear, I would have ranked Minions even higher, because there's always sort of that kid friendly family movie in the top 5 right around in this area. And I put Lightyear ahead of Minions, not realizing what a giant turd Lightyear was going to be.
There might as well have been no Lightyear. You know, it's like, Oof.
Yeah. So all you know, you mentioned a good point, Jeff, which is that all of us, other than Peter, put Lightyear as number 4. Yeah. Every single one of us put Lightyear as number 4. Lightyear in reality was number 8. And I think all of us are still kind of wishing for those halcyon days of 2017, when a movie like Coco can make $807 million at the box office and be transcendently good and amazing, and everyone loves it. And it's like, this was the first Pixar, I think, theatrical only release since COVID began, as far as I could tell, right?
Yeah.
So
the one for boys, the one that should have been a sure success, right?
Yeah, we were all hoping that Lightyear would really, you know, pull through for us, and instead
it was supposed to be Top Gun Maverick, supposed to give us that feeling.
Yeah, and instead it like kind of bombed. Lightyear kind of bombed. You know, the top 5 movies. Every one of the top 5 movies did pretty well, but like Lightyear kind of bombed because that movie cost $200 million to make.
Minions made over double what Lightyear made.
Yes,
that's a bomb.
It made over triple what Lightyear made, Jeff. It made over triple what Lightyear.
Oh, you're right, over triple. Yeah.
So,
and I think that was all marketing. Like, I think the movie was so badly marketed. Like, people didn't understand what it was. There was like some like people that were like, oh, they got rid of Tim Allen. I don't know. Like, it was weird.
Yeah. Well, the movie was also not great in my opinion. Like, it's not a movie that leaves you feeling like what you think that movie is going to be.
Yeah.
Right.
You think, as Jeff put it really well during our review of Lightyear, it's like you think it's going to be kind of like a Saturday morning serial type of cartoon type deal that's going to play on your memories of that stuff, and instead it's like a very serious, brooding picture. You know?
Yeah, you're like, the time travel stuff. I like the movie probably more than all you guys, but I think it was also, it was a little too dark, and Peter's dead on with like the fact that people are like, what is this movie? And if they had just said Buzz Lightyear, and like people like me, I'll take full credit being like, no, it's the cartoon of this and that, and people are like, I don't care. Like nobody wanted to hear any of that stuff. So Peter is 100% right. And then yes, you guys are all right. That was just the wrong chemistry of a really great idea, I think.
Well,
but I do think you guys are.
Go ahead.
I do think you guys are a little bit more cynical in what you're seeing of Lightyear. Like, if you look at the IMDb ratings or the audience rating on Rotten Tomatoes, like 84%. Like, the people that saw it didn't love it, but they liked it quite a bit. Like, it wasn't like there was good word of mouth there. I think it's just people didn't see it.
You know, the only people whose opinions I care about, Peter, are on this podcast right now. So.
and not even many of those.
All right.
The thing about Lightyear is people went in expecting George Lucas and they got Christopher Nolan, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
So Minions Rise of Gru, number 4. Peter hit it dead on. Everyone else had put Minions a little bit lower. I put it at number 5. Jeff put it at number 5. Devindra at number 6. Germain at number 7. That probably cost you a little bit.
Yes,
Germain.
It did. Like I said,
yeah. Number 5, Thor: Love and Thunder. $340 million domestic.
You think this is going to make more than Thor? Yep. And I hit it dead on.
Yeah. Germain hit Thor dead on as number 5.
Perfect.
Pretty good.
Which is
well
pretty
done,
good.
Germain.
Yeah, well done. So Thor: Love and Thunder, again, didn't love this movie, and at the same time, it still did really well. Any movie that makes over 300 million domestic is not a failure, you know. So solid movie, but I don't think it felt as essential, honestly, to me, as Multiverse of Madness. Like Multiverse, big cameos, Doctor Strange is in it. You know, Thor: Love and Thunder is like, you could have watched it, you could have not watched it. It's not really going to make any difference in terms of the MCU, from my perspective.
Well, at least Multiverse, like it felt like it had one tone to it. This movie felt like it had competing tones of like the comedy and then like the dark,
the cancer storyline. You know, I agree. It was. I don't think it was a like completely successful movie. I know people disagree with me on here, but whatever the case, it made a lot of money domestically, $340 million, and Where do we put that? Where did Germain was the only one that hit it dead on? I think everyone else had it either number 3 or number 2.
Yeah.
I put it at number 2, so I was,
Dumb.
as Jeff put it, most wrong.
Yeah, that was it was a big mistake. Overestimating. Though you got to think. I mean, I still didn't blame you when I heard that. It's like Taika Waititi, like he was coming out, and you're like, oh my god, Thor! I love Ragnarok, so good. This is gonna be so much better. And Portman, yeah. It just, I think it was like. It was okay, but underwhelmed, and there you go. It's
I feel like we got to introduce some new categories to this whole awards thing at some point, because it's like there should be an MVP award this year, and maybe there should be a most wrong award. Just really hang that hat on somebody.
I'm with you, Devindra. I'm with you.
You know, if there is a most wrong, it might sound something like this. Jeff Canada, you're number 8. Okay, I'll stop. I won't play the whole thing. That was
pretty wrong. The thing that's funny to me is that the very reason you put Thor: Love and Thunder so high, Dave, is I think what undermined it in doing so well. You said it was going to be this fun, feel good compared to Doctor Strange, which was, self-serious and kind of dark and brooding. And I think honestly, it was just a little too goofy. Like it was a little too goofy for people. I just didn't like you're talking about. What didn't feel essential.
I will say that Thor Ragnarok only made $315 million domestic. And so this movie actually made more money than Thor Ragnarok. And I think everyone thought Thor Ragnarok was a huge hit when that movie came out, right? So it's like
every time of year though. I think that came in November, and that's in the summer. The summer just gives it a different, spin. I think.
But I think I didn't know even as we are in like the top 5 here, like how many of our assumptions were completely upended, right? Like obviously Top Gun Maverick, Jurassic World Dominion wasn't number 1, right? Doctor Strange did, I think, better than any of us thought, even though you guys all thought it would do really well. But like, I don't know that people thought it would be like $400 million well. And so like all those things have already like upended a lot of what our assumptions would be. And so at this point, I'm lucky to be getting any points for Thor: Love and Thunder, right? Yeah. Which I got 3 points for because I put it at number 2. It came in at number 5. So after this point, guys, it starts getting pretty bleak. It starts becoming kind of a crapshoot because there is a $190 million difference between number 5 and number 6 at the box office.
Yeah, this is incredible to me. Like I looked at that list and I'm like, I can't explain it. And it's weird because the movies below here are actually pretty good, but probably like we didn't expect them to be good. I don't know. It's very interesting.
And Peter, you talk about you always come equipped with the statistics. I'm always impressed when you've got your numbers and your number expectations and what past year means for different. It feels like 150 million, which is number 6, is off the list most years, right?
Yeah. I don't know about usually like number 10 is around like the 120 to 150 range, if I recall correctly. But I would agree with you that this is very high up for a movie that made only $149 million.
I mean, I put this movie at number 10, so I was way off on this one.
I think we all thought it would crack 100 million maybe, and that would put it around the low end of the list. I put it at number 8, but the movie that we're all talking about is Elvis, the Baz Luhrmann movie, which, was a breakout success for a movie that was budgeted at around $70 million and actually like a sign of hope at the box office, like that a movie like this, despite being a fairly rote biopic, in my opinion, could still do well. That's like really encouraging sign.
It's super long. It's Baz Luhrmann, but getting butts and seats. Yeah.
I mean, it was the movie that my mom was most excited to see this summer, and I think there's a lot of people that remember Elvis that were excited to see it.
Yeah, I mean, like where Top Gun kind of played to an older crowd, this did too. Obviously, didn't have the same success, but like in the older crowd, but also the Austin Butler crowd. So it kind of had a good cross section of audiences. Probably bringing a lot of like teenage girls that maybe wouldn't have come. So and Baz Luhrmann's got a huge following too. So I was surprised it did so well, but it did well, and I enjoyed the film.
So I do want to just for comparison, right? In 2019, pre-COVID. The number 6 movie, like this slot, was taken by John Wick Chapter 3. That movie made $171 million. And then in 2018, again pre-COVID, the number 6 movie was Solo: A Star Wars Story. And that movie made $213 million. So yeah, this is very high up to be having a movie that's making 150. And again, goes to show you just not that many movies out this summer. I mean, I remember when we were making our lists and like kind of struggling to come up with 10 at all. which is how movies like Downton Abbey ended up on my list. Anyway, we'll get to
we'll
that.
talk about that. Yeah.
We'll get to that. So that's Elvis is number 6, and none of us got it dead on. Number 7.
This was a good one.
Nope. The Jordan Peele film Nope, which came in with $120 million. Again, I think Devindra, Peter, and myself all hit this dead on. I think we all thought it would make more money than this.
Yes.
Than 120.
I think we all had the right sense though, because Germain and I only were one away with it. So I think we all sort of felt like Nope was going to be in this 7-ish range, and we were all pretty accurate on that.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Nope is the only movie on this list that is not based off of a pre-existing IP of any kind, which is its own accomplishment. Like that Jordan Peele can make a movie.
Oh no! I guess the Bullet Train is right.
Yeah, Bullet Train's based off of graphic novel. So Nope is the only one not based, which is like that is an achievement to be able to create something from nothing, no previous IP, and create a movie that makes over $100 million. Like huge props to Jordan Peele on Nope, which made $120 million.
You think Jordan Peele is the IP now these days? I think he might be. He's the name, right?
He's a Shyamalan-esque, like Nolan-esque figure that can, like, people will see a movie because it's his doing.
Yeah, absolutely. He's in that class. Yeah,
he's in that class. Yeah, agreed. So, all right, guys. Number 8, Lightyear, $118 million. Pretty big disaster at the box office, and sad that like Pixar movies have largely been consigned to Disney Plus straight to streaming. This, as Devindra put it, this was supposed to be the big one, and it came in at $118 million, way lower than any of us thought. Again, Peter put it at number 5. Everyone else, me, Devindra, Germain, and Jeff, all put it at number 4. We all thought it was going to make at least $200 million, I think, or in that range. And I think we've already said why we think it didn't make that much money. You know, does anyone have any thoughts on? I was just curious, like, where does it rank among Pixar movies? And if I'm looking at Box Office Mojo, and it looks like 181 million puts it 19th of all time Pixar. It right below Cars 2, but above A Bug's Life, at Cars 3, and The Good Dinosaur.
You said 181. It's 118.
It's 118.
Oh, 118. I'm sorry. That puts it dead last, except for Onward, which got. Which was during COVID. Yeah. Right. So that is dead last, beaten by The Good Dinosaur. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's a big switch.
The Good Dinosaur was like widely regarded as a bomb when it came out, unfortunately.
And critics,
I don't think it deserved to be this low in the Pixar pantheon.
No,
I really don't.
I agree. I don't think it's. I think it's not obviously top tier or second tier, but I think it's like it's there.
Quality-wise, like it is better than certainly The Good Dinosaur. One thing I'll point out here is that this is a kids movie, right? And this is a movie where I think child excitement will get parents to bring them to the theater, and especially like groups of kids and multiple kids and things like that. So I wonder if it just didn't have that. I also wonder if parents were like, maybe heard some of this buzz and was just like, doesn't actually sound like a fun kids movie. So it's like probably a whole bunch of things, but you know, I have younger family members, and none of them were excited about it.
Parents saying like, I took my children to go see Lightyear, and they came out crying. They came out contemplating in an existential spiral. Yeah, you know, like,
does this mean you'll die someday, Father?
Yes, it does.
How can we never do the thing that Buzz does in the movie, where he like skips over your entire life? I don't want that to happen. You know,
I will say again, the movie I wish I could have gone to see in movie theaters is The Sea Beast. That's the movie that deserves to be on this list. I know it's a Netflix joint, so it wasn't going to happen. But man,
that the best kids movie this year. Yeah,
I agree.
You're right. Best animated kids movie this year. Best movie that deserves to be on the biggest screen with the best audio you can muster. Sea Beast.
I agree. Awesome movie.
I should see Sea Beast.
You should.
It's phenomenal, Germain. You'll love it. So good.
CC.
Yeah.
Actually, I want to add to that.
You know what? You should also like email your friends about Sea Beast, and then CC some people about seeing Sea Beast.
Nice. I love it.
And actually, make sure you tell your friend CC as well. So tell CC you can CC about seeing.
She's in a different. She's in a different time zone. She's in Assisi right now.
What? I don't
I don't get that one at all.
Isn't that a place?
That's a place. Sure.
Well, okay. I appreciate the yes and, but you kind of cut that one short, Jeff.
Did I do it? Did I ruin
I
it?
think Peter was trying to say something.
A
Yeah,
CC
a place.
Is it a location? Is what you're saying? Anyway, all right, Peter, Sciretta, what were you going to say?
Yeah. The other movie that should have been in theaters this summer is a movie called Prey. And I really actually think it would have been in this top 10. I actually honestly think.
But the filmmaker, is he? Who do we? What
Not
do
a
we know
fan.
about this
Not
guy?
a fan.
I mean, not a fan
Not
of
a
him,
fan.
right?
There is a really interesting question to ask about how well Prey would have done. You know, it has a lot going for it. Obviously, it's an incredible film by someone who I'm told is talented. Not sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
No independent confirmation. It's based off a pre-existing IP, but it also has no name actors or actors who are going to be willing to like get people to put butts in seats. And it's a prequel. Like the marketing would have been tricky.
I think it could have done Black
I think it would have been
Phone
in the top 10.
money.
I agree. It could have. Yeah, it could have done Black Phone numbers. It could have done. Certainly, you know, there's a movie that came out this weekend called Barbarian that made $10 million opening weekend. Like it definitely could have done Barbarian numbers. So I agree. It could have done well. But it's I think it's a little more complicated.
Yeah, it's a whole business.
People being like, "Oh, it should have been in theaters." You know, I agree it would have done well, but it's like, you know, it's complicated.
The conversation around it is very different now because it's like all about being a streaming success, whereas it could have been a Lightyear situation, and then that's the stain of the movie, you know. So hey, I'm glad it succeeded on Hulu.
That said, we all you know, to be clear, we all love the movie, but it's like
Prey is amazing, awesome.
Who knows how well it would have done at the box office? It's unknowable, but and I think it's, to be clear, I think Peter. We all think it should have come out. It deserved a theatrical. Like, if you've seen what else has come out in the box office, like it deserved a theatrical release. So that was number 8, Lightyear, $118 million at the domestic box office.
Dave.
Yes.
Assisi is a hill town in central Italy's Umbria region.
There you go.
St. Francis of Assisi.
Yeah.
So you have to CC, and CC to
in
see.
Assisi.
Oh yeah, to see
in Assisi to see Sea Beast.
Got it. Which, by the way, as good as it is, do we think it actually would have made money in the box office?
I'd give it a C.
Jeff, if that's the reason your computer crashed because you're looking that up, I'm going to be really sad.
Oh, Wikipedia makes my computer crash?
Oh my God.
Number 9, The Black Phone, which made $89.6 million.
That's great.
Now,
great for this movie.
Yeah. Awesome Job. Cargill and Derrickson did a great job with the movie. I think we all really enjoyed it. None of us had this on our top 10.
I didn't even have it as a dark horse.
Yeah. All of us except for Germain had a dark horse, and I think the reason is because I think we actually accurately predicted that it would probably make around this much money.
Yes.
But we just didn't think that a movie that made $89 million could make it into the top 10.
It was on my original list. I'm looking at like earlier drafts of my list, and it was there. Man.
Yeah. But that's the shock is, you know, well, first of all, it's not it's not a given that a movie like this will break out and do well like this. And this is a pretty big success in terms of like a small indie horror film.
Right.
So that's awesome. But then also, it's not given that once you make $89 million, you're going to be in the top 10. So it's just a testament to like how rough it's been at the box office.
And a testament that it was the only thing of this nature. I mean, obviously, like you said, you could have watched Prey at home or something. But if you wanted to go to the theater and see a scary movie, Black Phone isn't a traditional scary movie, but it's the scariest movie out there. And I think that really, it having that whole audience to itself and being good definitely helped.
For comparison, in 2019, the number 9 film that year was Pokemon Detective Pikachu. That movie made $144 million domestic.
Yeah.
Right? So compare that to $89.6 million domestic this year for the Black Phone. It's a big come down. Finally.
All right, before we get to this one.
Yeah.
I would like to set up that the whole summer movie wager came down to this 10th spot. And
wait, didn't someone make that prediction on the original podcast?
Yes, and someone also and he might be wearing green glasses and named Peter, was very, very like, how could the movie that I picked, he's like, that's never going to make any money. So it wasn't as Top Gunny, but I will say that there are 2 films battled for this top spot. One was there pretty early, and the other one snuck up. And if the summer movie wager ended, I believe, 2 days earlier, the results would have been different. Unfortunately, we have our rules, and the rules are the rules. But now let's talk about...
I remember it was like a few years ago when I lost because of the like literally the events of Labor Day weekend. Like I think it was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, basically like inched up over a certain spot, and then as a result, I got bumped out of the top slot.
Right?
So.
Yeah, and the next two that we're talking about, the next one really is it inched into this 10th spot on, I believe, the Sunday, if not the Monday, to take my dead hit at number 10, drop it to 0 point number 11, and flip the entire game.
Rough. That's a 13-point swing. Right there.
Yeah.
That's brutal.
It's brutal. So the number 10 movie was Bullet Train, making $88 million domestic. And Germain, this was one of your dark horses. Everyone else had it on the list. I was closest. I had it at number 9. It came in at number 10 in reality. Peter had it at number 8. Devindra had it at number 8. Jeff had it at number 7. I mean, everyone was reasonably close to this one, other than Germain.
Of course.
So actually, Germain, maybe you should explain yourself. Why did you think it wouldn't make the top 10?
I don't know. I still don't know. I haven't seen it. I specifically didn't go see it because
it's really good.
I'm sure it's good. I specifically didn't go see it.
Wanted to
no more money.
My $15 was going to be the $15 that
Amazing.
put it over the top. So I will. I still want to see it. I don't know. I it might still be. I think I saw footage of CinemaCon. I think I saw like the first 10 minutes, and it just didn't grab me. And I probably thought the quality was not going to be there, and obviously I was wrong. So I think that was why I was like, dark horse. But it definitely cost me, and not having it on the list didn't cost me as much as losing my number 10. But still,
yeah. It's for coming from someone who has seen it, Germain. The movie's a blast. It's a lot of fun, and it doesn't surprise me that it's at number 10. $88 million, a solid take for a movie of this kind. I had a great time with the movie. But again, 88, probably the lowest number 10, possibly in the history of some movie wager, like just in terms of dollar amount, right? So,
and also the movie it was made for $90 million, so not a huge success either.
Yeah, it'll make money internationally,
and it's really like I said, the reason. And I thought I was good going in those last couple of weeks because it wasn't performing to its level, but the lack of competition in August this year was unprecedented. This summer, a lot of unprecedented things for all these reasons, Top Gun and not as many movies, but like nothing came out in the last like 3 weeks. And so a movie with Brad Pitt with decent reviews, action is a very, very wide genre, broad genre. And it kept inching up, and it actually performed very well Labor Day, especially with that like $3 movie day. And, if like one other movie came out in that time, I would have been good, but it did not.
Time is a cruel mistress.
$2 movie day, Germain, you would have been fine.
Oh my God, $2 movie day, one day. Yeah.
Time is a cruel mistress. Well, it's worth also calling out what numbers 11, 12, and 13 were this year, because many of us had them on our top 10 or as dark horses, right? Number 11 was $85 million, Where the Crawdads Sing. And this was the one that you had at number 10. You just barely missed it, Germain, right?
Just barely missed it. Only person who had it on the list. It looks like only you, Dave, had it as a dark horse.
I had it as a dark horse, yeah.
And it was, again, for me, the reason I had it number 10, I knew it wasn't going to be a huge hit. I knew it filled a void that no other movie this summer did, which was like it going for for women. A movie that like is based on a book that people who don't go to the movies a lot read. Like, it was like Oprah's book club type thing. And I think also the movie wasn't great. I saw it. It wasn't very good. My wife, Jane, had read the book, and I'm like, how did that compare? She goes, she's like, it's terrible. So, but it was like, a bunch of, people wanted to go see this movie, and they did. And just $3 million short of my 13 points.
So close.
But I can't tell if you really regret this decision, Germain.
No, I mean, I don't. I think I was that close. I was, it was that close.
We haven't revealed the winner yet. You could have won, Germain.
You could have still won, Germain.
Sure, I could have won, but losing 13 points on the last day is
it's
pretty
brutal.
painful. And also the justice for Germain at the beginning of the podcast, if I had actually won, I believe the justice would have been served.
It's so true. Okay, well, number 12, this was the big surprise. So I'm going to tell you guys, this is a situation where when I saw literally everyone had it on their list and I didn't, I metaphorically pooped myself. Like I was like, oh shit, like I should have put this on the list. Like maybe I really messed up by not putting this on my list. Number 12 is DC League of Super Pets at $82 million. Now, I thought, man, this thing's guaranteed to be top 10, right? You got Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. It's got cute animals in it. It's CG. And it has it's based on the DC. Yeah, it has literally everything you would want.
Yeah.
It's not a box office bomb or anything, but it's certainly not a huge success at $82 million. And for me, it was my fear gave way to relief that I didn't put it on, and actually really helped me because literally every single choice I made was either on the top 10 or a dark horse. And if I had put DC League of Super Pets on, would have bumped another one off. But have any of you seen DC League of Super Pets? What did you think of the movie?
No.
I have not seen it.
Okay, no one saw it. Okay.
There you go.
We have no further thoughts. Everyone just cynically chose it as their number 9 or number 10.
Yeah.
And to be fair, you guys were actually pretty close. You know, it came in number 12. You guys chose 9 or 10. Yeah. Okay, number 13.
Oh boy.
At $43 million.
That's a drop.
That is 5% of what Top Gun Maverick made, basically.
2 of this is DC League of Super Pets almost.
It's true.
I mean, thank goodness no one actually put this on their list.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
it'd be a colossal blunder, the likes of which we've rarely seen.
To be fair, though, we all have it as dark horses.
yeah, everyone had it as a dark horse. Okay, you guys can't shame me that much. If no one else had chosen it as a dark horse, then you might be getting somewhere.
This is what dark horses are made for, though. So
number 13 is Downton Abbey, A New Era, which I put at number 10. Possibly the single biggest decision I made, biggest mistake I made in the summer movie wager.
Well, the point was you were still okay. Like, you know, despite
because not only is it not number 10, is it number 13 and only made $43 million, but it gave literally everyone else, including Dennis, who runs the summer moviewager.com, tons of ammunition with which to ridicule me throughout the course of the summer, you know?
Yeah.
And that is the biggest tragedy of all.
But here's the other question. I am a big Downton Abbey fan. I saw the film. Did anybody else see the film?
No.
Okay.
I don't care for it.
I care for it. The film was excellent. If you're a Downton Abbey fan,
wow.
It is Downton Abbey of Endgame. It brings everything together. It's excellent. But again, $43 million is probably very generous for the Downton Abbey fans to come out to the theater. It was on Peacock like the next week. Like it was just like super fast to streaming.
You know how many PBS tote bags that is?
It's a lot. That's true.
I think certainly, you know, the last Downton Abbey made around $90 million, I think it was. And so I was thinking, if this is as good or better than the last Downton Abbey, then maybe I have a chance to clinch this one.
Yeah,
unfortunately, what I did,
you would have been right there. You would have been right there.
If this really is the Avengers Endgame of the Downton Abbey universe, then this thing is in the bag, baby, you know? But unfortunately, what I didn't anticipate was old people don't like going to movie theaters anymore.
But that's not true. That's not true. They all went to see Top Gun Maverick like 3 times.
It's true.
Yeah.
That's right. I know.
But they need things to really pump up the blood.
Too busy watching Tom Cruise again and Elvis.
Yeah. So huge miscalculation on my part and a decision I deeply, deeply regret. Okay.
I want to bring up just one more time.
Yes.
The incredibly stellar work from Dennis. It just
unbelievable. Yes.
Extraordinary. This website is phenomenal. What a resource. The way it breaks down statistics and really cool graphs and easy to view ways. It's just over and above what is necessary for our dumb little game.
Yes. Agreed. Dennis did an amazing job. Okay. Now, before we move on to announce who the winner is and what the punishment/prize is, we need to talk about movies that we chose as top 10 or dark horses that didn't make the list at all, right? So there were a couple things that people chose as dark horses that did not rank in the list. And that was the biggest one specifically, Paws of Fury, The Legend of Hank, which Jeff Kanata chose as a dark horse.
A dark horse. Well, what are you going to do? You throw stuff at the wall.
I've seen that movie. It's all right. Yeah.
Apparently, it's a remake of Blazing Saddles.
It's basically
right?
Blazing Saddles.
It's
yeah.
Blazing Saddles, but the cartoon version, which is like, or the
and also
animated
weirdly
version?
Orientalist because it's all about Samurai-ville. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's a whole
Yeah.
thing. Yeah,
You know, all the kids love Blazing Saddles. So
Yeah. Oh yeah.
same
For
thing.
sure.
my daughter loves
Michael
that
Cera.
movie.
Everybody loves
Yeah.
Michael Cera.
Yeah.
What about
Well,
the
I
Bob's
actually do like
Burgers
Michael Cera.
movie?
People
Yeah,
do
I
like.
thought the Bob's Burger
No, I did.
movie.
People do like
Everybody,
Michael Cera. I'm sorry. I meant kids. And Bob's Burgers, yes, was a dark horse myself as well.
everybody
Yes.
put that as a dark horse except me.
Yes, everyone put Bob's Burgers movies as a dark horse, and it did not.
It should have been.
make-
Should have been.
It
Yeah.
should have been in the top 10. Should have been in the top 10. And I think that's basically it, right? Like, I don't think there's any.
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
other-
Let's all go. We can go now, right?
I think that there's no other movies that were unmentioned. Anyway, what a very strange summer box office that very few of us, with Germain possibly accepted, saw coming. But at the end of the day, let's rack up the points and see what people scored. Coming in
Dead last.
dead last,
But the first in our hearts.
fifth place with 47 points is Jeff Kanata.
Thank you, everybody. I have a lot of people I need to thank. No, I'm just kidding. I was last.
Coming
Jeff,
in,
I will say this. Well, I'll say this. If you look at the global leaderboard, we had over 2,100 people play along with us on summermoviewager.com. Jeff, you were 1,101. So you were like in the middle.
That's
You
right.
beat half the
50%,
people.
baby.
You beat
Top
half
50.
the listeners.
That's right. They call
You're-
me Average Kanata. That's
you are,
me, baby.
you're the definition of average.
I put the bell and bell curve.
I give it a C, a CC. though.
Okay. Coming in at number 4, thanks to a massive 13-point swing that happened in the last week. With 49 points, it's Germain Lussier.
Yeah.
Germain.
Yeah. I mean, like I said,
Hashtag justice for Germain.
This is what
Justice for
justice
Germain.
tastes like.
like
Top
Yeah.
Gun wasn't enough.
Top
Like,
Gun was
that's it.
not enough, and I was literally tweeting at people to go see Where the Crawdads Sing because I know I needed a couple extra
I
dollars.
booked out a whole theater. Just go.
I was
Go.
like, just please go. That wouldn't, yeah. But
Should have done some theater buyouts, Germain. If you
Yeah.
did enough theater buyouts, you could have
Yeah.
made the $3 million.
$3 million
extra.
$3 million.
You need it, baby.
I mean, but so close yet so far. But it was a very, very fun year, and like I said, very fun to be invested going into that last weekend in
Mhm,
a
yeah,
competition
yeah.
with one of you.
Yeah. Well, coming in at number 3 with 50 points, Devindra Hardawar. Solid job, Devindra.
Woo.
Nicely done. Woo.
Yeah,
Devindra
team
hit
50s, you know? Yeah.
Yeah,
You know what's
yeah,
up.
Team 50. Yeah, literally, this separates the really good players from the bad ones. Devindra, I think, hit 2 choices dead on.
Mhm.
Doctor Strange 2 and Nope at number 2 and 7, respectively. So nicely done.
Mhm.
Runner up for this year, and I just want to explain.
There's no runner up.
Runner up.
There's no like if the winner can't perform their duties action. There's no congeniality prize.
And also,
Run how it
before we
works.
say who it is,
First
which is-
loser.
guys, I had 49 points.
Jeff,
Devindra had 50 points, and number 2 had 51 points. So 2 points separates 2nd
Mhm.
to 4th. Yeah.
Okay, so as I was saying before, I was incredibly rudely interrupted by Jeff spouting nonsense. The runner-up, aka the second best player, almost first best player in this year's Summer Movie Wager, like nearly the winner of this year's Summer Movie Wager. Okay, just barely missing the victory, and therefore should be honored as such. Me, David Chen.
The thing that is so grating about you coming in second, Dave, is
yeah, what is
how
it?
much
What is it, Jeff?
how much whining throughout the year we had to hear about how Downton Abbey has just ruined me from like for months. It was Downton Abbey. This I'll never have a chance, and then he comes in second.
Yeah. Yeah. This game's whack.
You gotta
here.
get it on both ends. You gotta hear the agonizing from me on the pre-end of the game, and then afterwards the gloating, as I am the runner-up, aka the second best player.
It's the Crawdads' fault, Jeff. It
Of
is
the
the
Summer Movie
It is the
Wager this year.
Crawdads could not keep up with the bullet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which means, of course, that coming in number 1 of this year's Summer Movie Wager at 55 points, Peter Sciretta. Woo!
Congrats.
Peter Sciretta.
Well
I may have not
Peter.
gotten Top Gun right, but I got a lot of other stuff right.
That's
so.
the thing.
Three dead-ons. Nice.
It's a Moneyball. It's a Moneyball situation. Like if you miss one, it's about getting enough ones correct that you get enough points. Peter hit 3 dead on. Yeah.
He is the Moneyball player. He's got the stats. He runs the numbers. He's got the analytics.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's usually done me wrong, but like I feel like this time, I don't know. This was a weird year. Like even me placing number 1 of us in the global leaderboard of the site, the 2,116 people that played, I'm 310. So there's 309 people that beat me. Yeah, no, I'll take this win.
I want to call out the winner of the global leaderboard is somebody whose username is EBO, real name Ethan. And Ethan had a message that he wanted me to read in association with their victory on the global leaderboard. Ethan, by the way, made 74 points. So bested us by a whole 20 points. Yeah.
By the way,
wow,
impressive.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Very impressive. He got Top Gun head on at number 1, but he only nailed 5 of the choices.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that shows you how crazy this year was.
And
Ethan,
I said numerous times on our show that nobody could have put Top Gun as number 1. It turned out there were several people who did.
Yeah. He also got Bullet Train.
My whining, Jeff saying like no one could have put. And meanwhile, like Ethan did the person who won did. Jeff, okay.
Oh, it's clear. Yeah.
Anyway.
No, that's why I don't like your whining, Dave, because it takes away from my whining.
It's so true. Ethan writes, "Quote: I was really glad to hear the Summer Movie Wager was back. It's always one of my favorite episodes to listen to, and I rushed to check it out, but not before filling out my choices, so I wouldn't be influenced by yours."
Well, clearly not influenced by us. He trounced us.
I remember agonizing over number 1, but feeling okay about Top Gun, at least until I listened to the episode. I felt pretty silly at first, but it looks like I made the right choice. Now my wife just wants to know what I won. Thanks for the contest. Better luck to you all next year.
Well, he gets, in the Marvel Comics tradition, open your mailbox and you will find a no prize.
You actually win a performance of this song. Jeff Cannata, you're number 8.
Oh, wow.
Okay, I'll stop.
By the way, even the global number 1 who dead on 1, 2, 3, 5, and 10 put Lightyear number 4.
Yep.
So that's how big of a bomb Lightyear was. The man with the plan, Ethan, even bombed.
I mean, that's, honestly, we made such a big deal about Top Gun and it deserves it. But I think easily as big a shocker story is Lightyear.
Yeah.
Indeed. All right. Well, the prize, Peter Sciretta, for those who win the Summer Movie Wager is you get to identify a piece of media under 3 hours long that the rest of us will watch.
Now, before he does, though, I believe the last time we did this, I picked a very bad film as punishment for you all, and it was a wonderful time. But one of us didn't participate.
I wasn't there, but I've seen the movie.
But I still feel like maybe
you have to go through the punishment again.
I think you have to go through the punishment again.
What the heck?
I know you don't, but still.
We'll adjudicate that at a later time. But in the meantime, Peter Sciretta, you have chosen a movie that you want the rest of us to watch.
Can I walk you through my thought process here?
Yes, please.
Okay,
is Peter going to choose mercy or justice is the question.
Well, that's the thing. See, at first I was like, how can I punish these guys? Right? Like, what movie can I pick? And at first I was thinking
Love or Thunder. Yeah.
I was thinking Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker.
Oof.
Wow.
But,
no.
But like that wouldn't be fun for me because being on the podcast, like I would be the only one like I liked it and you guys would just be all negative. I don't want that. Who wants that? And who wants to revisit that? We already did that. So I was also thinking, like, is there a movie that you all probably haven't seen that I like that probably isn't a good movie, but I like it, and maybe I could show you that? And I was thinking there's this 1989 subversive comedy called Penn and Teller Get Killed. I was going to make you guys watch that, but then I was like, as much fun as that movie is,
I've seen that. It's a good movie. Yeah,
I'm not sure that it would make for an entertaining podcast discussion. So then I was talking to my buddy Dan Trachtenberg
Very
yesterday.
Very thoughtful. So far, yeah.
No, I was talking to Dan Trachtenberg yesterday, and he was suggesting all these movies that would be like movies that were on how did this get made? So like really bad movies. And that would be fun, but I feel like that's another podcast.
10 Cloverfield Lane?
Yeah. Black Mirror episode about video games? What?
Terrible.
No, he had this movie, Roland Emmerich, his first movie, Making Contact. He really wanted me to suggest that, but I didn't. Anyways, so instead of thinking vindictively and making you all watch like Gods of Egypt or something like that, like, I don't want to be mean.
Only a monster would do that. A true monster.
I was thinking about the audience, and like I have some power here, right? Like not only a power to like make you guys watch a movie, but a power to like make a podcast. There's going to be a podcast episode here. And I decided to choose a movie I love that I think it's a movie that's in my top 20 movie of all time. And I think a lot of people haven't seen. I'm pretty confident that you guys probably have all seen it, which is kind of the sad part of that. Thus, it was hard to whatever. But I'm going to make you guys watch it again. And I think in doing this, maybe it will expose dozens of people that listen to this podcast.
Using your power for good.
Wow.
Peter.
Sick burn, Peter.
Thousands of people that listen
there
to
are
this
tens
podcast.
of us.
Tens of thousands.
We are legion.
I was thinking like, what good can I do? That's honestly what it came down to. So my choice is the 1999 Doug Liman movie, Go.
Wow.
Awesome.
Can I tell you something, Peter? I've never seen it.
That's a great movie.
Yes.
Wow.
Nice.
I haven't seen it in years, and I've been wanting to rewatch it. I love that. Yeah, that's fun.
All right. Well, at some point in the next,
this is a great
few
choice.
months, that's a great choice, Peter.
For the record, I was actually going to do something similar, but I never get a chance.
Sure.
Okay, whatever you say, Jermaine.
Which Jeremy Piven movie would we be watching?
Exactly.
Entourage the movie.
ECU?
Right?
Yeah.
Jermaine would suggest Entourage the movie.
Jermaine should have done Iron Eagle. Like just all of the Top Gun-esque films of all time.
Jane suggested, she's like, just make him watch Maverick, and I'm like, no. I had a good one, but Pete, that's a great choice.
Wait, you can't tell us what it is?
Hold on till next year. Hold on till
I'm not saying, but
okay.
All right.
I've been holding on to mine for quite a while.
All right, folks. Well, thank you so much for playing at thesummermoviewager.com. Thank you so much for Dennis for maintaining that website, for keeping the flame going. When COVID was happening and I didn't really want to do the Summer Movie Wager, and I think that opinion was shared by other people as well. It was he would always check in. He'd be like, "Are we doing the wager this year?" And I'd be like, "I don't think so. I can barely get out of bed." He kept it going, and we're back in full force this year. And I want to just say thanks to both Dennis, everyone that participated, and also all the folks here on the podcast for making this a really fun year of wagering.
Like an afterburner on a plane that should have been retired years ago.
Indeed.
Keeping the flame going.
You guys want to hear about another time where I put my foot in my mouth is there was headlines about Top Gun Maverick being like, Top Gun Maverick catapults into #1 at the box office. I'm like, wow, that's so weird. What a silly term to use, catapults, because you don't think about catapults as having to do with planes. Well, so I tweeted about this, and it turns out that catapults, in fact, do have to do with planes. It's that thing that they use to, to hook onto the aircraft carrier, I believe. Anyway, so catapults, add it to your lexicon.
When it comes to really the bane of your summer, Dave. Yeah.
Both for the Summer Movie Wager and that tweet I made, which is now gone. So anyway, Germain Lussier, where can people find more of your work on the internet this week?
You can find my work on io9.com or on Twitter and Instagram at Germain Lussier. And I have to say, I'm really looking forward to 2023 because just a quick look at this, and I have no idea what to do, but I'm very excited about it. Some great big movies potentially coming out next summer.
Yeah, like what is top of mind for you, Germain?
I'm looking right now: Guardians 3, Fast 10,
Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning. Yeah. What are we going to do with it?
Yeah. Indiana Jones 5, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Tom Cruise is coming knocking, asking how much you really believe in him, Germain.
Transformers, the new one, man. It's
Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer. Yeah,
it's going to be a big sum.
Wait. I have one question. Germain. What do you base your picking of Mission Impossible on? Is it on what the rest of the franchise has done, or do you base it off Maverick? Like, what do you comp?
Oh no, I go with the rest of the Mission Impossible stuff. I think Maverick it was on a whole different nostalgic kick, and I think I don't know. I'm excited.
I'm going to put this out there right now. I'm calling my shot like Babe Ruth. I'm going to say that Mission Impossible, the next one, is going to get a $100 million bump from Maverick this year.
People are going to want that.
I think it will make $100 million more than most of Tom Cruise's other Mission Impossible.
Timestamp this clip, everybody. Yeah,
it is.
I'm going to be playing it back, very much like this clip, by the way. Jeff Canada. I'm just messing, Jeff. Okay. All right, Peter Sciretta, where can people find more of your work on the internet?
You can find me at slashfilm.com. I do Slash Film Daily almost every day on there, and also Ordinary Adventures on YouTube, where we go to theme parks and stuff. We just went to D23 Expo this past weekend, so that's coming up.
Thank you so much for listening. Thanks for playing this summer movie wager this year. We'll see you very soon. Thank you so much for watching this video of the Filmcast. Check out these other videos that we have available, and be sure to hit like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon to get other videos from us in the future.
You can also go to thefilmcast.com to catch all of our audio podcast versions of all of our episodes.
And support this podcast at patreon.com/filmpodcast, where you can sign up for ad-free episodes and exclusive After Darks.
Thanks so much to everyone who makes the Filmcast possible.